Hey guys, and welcome to the second episode of the AngryRagdoll Podcast. I'm Mr. Busy, your host. And before we continue with the show, we have someone very special today. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, what's up? I am Logic. I have just started a gaming channel with a few pretty good videos up there, so go check that out if you feel like it.
Right, and I asked him if he wanted to join the podcast, and he said yes. And this is the first time you're in a podcast, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I've never been a podcast. I thought, I thought it'd be pretty cool, so just kind of said yeah, and here I am.
Right, and just before we continue, because this is a gaming podcast, I'm going to ask you two questions because you're new to the podcast. So, first one is, what was your favorite game growing up, and what was the game that got you started with gaming in general?
Favorite game growing up was Pokemon. I mean, I
We all
just
have
love
that.
this.
We all have
Yeah,
that.
I just love the series, and the games were just like awesome.
Right.
And then I guess the game that got me properly into gaming, as in consoles and PC and stuff, was I'd say COD 4,
Oh
because that
my
was
God. Really?
yeah, because COD 4 was pretty good. I mean,
It was. It was. Yeah.
compared to the first three, that was it was new and it was good.
Do you know the game Age of Empires?
I've heard of it. I've never played it.
So the first game, which came out in 2003, that was the first ever game I played. Wait, so Call of Duty was the first ever game you played, or was it just
I,
like?
I'd say that probably got me into it. It wasn't like the first game. I mean, I played nearly every wrestling game before that as
So
well.
what's the very, very first game that you ever played?
Okay, actually the first game I probably ever played and actually probably got me into gaming was Here Comes the Pain.
I've never heard about that. What is that?
Yeah, that is an old SmackDown wrestling game,
Of course.
and like a lot of kind of old wrestling fans think it's like one of the best wrestling games there's been.
Yeah. Do you
Like the move sets on it and stuff were so good compared to nowadays.
right? Do you play a lot of WWE games? Do you watch WWE?
I watched it a lot, then I kind of lost interest, but now I'm kind of getting back into it since you got Punk. Punk's character's good. The Rock's coming back and
Yeah. You
stuff
do
like
know
that.
it's fake, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I just like the storyline. I just like the storyline.
yeah. Okay, so we're gonna head off and start the news. Okay, so first thing we're gonna talk about is a very big topic, and a lot of you who listen to podcasts and are up to date with the gaming news, so you probably know that THQ shut itself down, but we're gonna talk a little bit about that and more in depth. Uh, so just before we continue, here's a question for you. Do you think THQ would survive? Now, I know you don't know that much about it, but you do know that it lost a lot of money and people didn't want to play its games. But um, what do you think about that? I mean,
I mean, it's been struggling for like quite a few years now. I mean,
yeah.
it's sort
So,
of been
and you
getting
said you played a lot of their WWE games, and that was a big success. But then, over the years, they made more games, and that didn't really go well.
yeah.
Do you think they would have survived if they continued as a company?
I think if they developed like as in Saints Row, I think it was one of their main
Right.
type of things. If they'd made that and that would have been a major like release in their main game, then maybe. But they didn't have like their standout game, if you know what I mean.
Right. And so anyway, they went out of business and they have a couple of auctions up today. You can go out if you have $2 or $3 million, you can buy out uh Darksiders. Do you have that much money? I mean,
I just have it stashed away somewhere.
okay. And so anyway, they did a couple of auctions, and here's the big thing. So EA, which you do know who they are,
Yeah,
practically,
yeah.
I think. And Ubisoft didn't show up. So there was a lot of talk at the beginning about Ubisoft wanting to buy THQ and all of its games. And nevertheless, they didn't show up. Also with EA. So even if you, I'm just, before we continue on here, even if they did sell a few of their IPs like Darksiders or even WWE to Ubisoft, do you think Ubisoft could help that series and take it out of the hole that it made itself.
Yeah, because that game just needed to be taken apart and made again. WWE, really.
I mean, there were a couple of games. The last couple of games, to be frank, here, weren't that good. We
No.
They weren't the best. I mean, there were better ones, older ones who were better. So anyway, Crytek wanted to buy Darksiders, their series, but instead they uh, bought a couple of developers from uh, THQ. What do you think
Yeah.
of that?
I don't really know, to be honest. I mean, it's surprising that they didn't go for Darksiders. I thought they would have taken a chance on it, but
Right.
I mean, they bought Homefront for 500K, I think. So
Yeah, they did. They did. They had
yeah,
a lot of talk about that, but the problem is, like, even if they do buy, no one, I don't think, will buy the games, even if there's Darksiders 3 by Ubisoft, slap on Ubisoft logo. I don't
yeah.
think people will still want to buy it. And believe it or not, Saints Row 3, did you like that game? Have you played it?
Yes, I played it and I loved
Believe
it.
it or not, that was one of their worst games ever.
Really?
Yep.
I did
It
not know
lost
that.
$22 million in revenue. And
Jeez.
have you played Metro?
No.
Have you heard about it? It's a
Yeah.
horror. It's a little bit like a horror game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Post-apocalyptic Russia. So that also lost a lot of money. Um, so pretty much their opening bid. The problem is no one wants to buy it because, like I said before, once you slap in on like someone else's name, like EA, onto Darksiders, no one would want to buy it. I mean, you
yeah.
don't
Yeah,
trust because usually when EA buys like a game company and makes a sequel to it, then usually it sucks.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh, do you know a couple of cases where that happened?
I don't know like personally, but I've heard about them trying to make good sequels to games and it just flopping completely.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, that's it pretty much. People are always, there's a lot of private companies, indie developers that are trying to buy, but the problem is they're selling it for so much money, and if they don't get to sell it on time, so I think they have like a month or two left to sell it. And if they're not gonna buy it, no one's gonna buy it, then pretty much all those titles are dead. Like you can't remake anything, nothing. So pretty much all you've played in Saints Row and Darksiders is gone. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
and even so, like I said, the Crytek bought a couple of developers from THQ, and that's going to help them a little bit with the future development of games. And that actually brings us over to the next subject, which also has something with that. Uh, so GTA 5, I will
yeah.
tell you how this is related to one another in a little bit, but GTA 5's release date has uh, again been delayed.
Yeah,
So,
September 17th.
yeah, and so just what's pretty much why it did this transition to GTA 5 is because Rockstar was in the talks about buying uh, a couple of IPs from THQ, and that really didn't go well.
Yeah.
So GTA 5, are you waiting for that game?
I haven't actually played a GTA for a while. I mean,
Really?
I'll have a look.
What was the
No,
last one you played?
probably, I don't know,
Come on,
three maybe.
three?
I never played four.
Oh my god. Wait, you mean
Never
three
played it.
like GTA Vice City or what?
Yeah, yeah, I see.
My god. You have to play the other games. Uh so anyways, again, this is the third time GTA 5's release date has been delayed. Now here's a funny thing. Um the first two times that's been delayed, they said they wanted to polish the game. But now the funny thing is they haven't said anything. Why they delayed it? There's no story. The only thing that actually came out was a couple of artwork for the new box of the GTA 5, What do you think of that? What are they hiding from us? Like,
I mean,
could it possibly be?
they've talked about a bit about how they trying to hit the next consoles. That's why they might have delayed it, but
Right. And
I
do
don't
you
know.
think I may because like have you seen there's been a lot of YouTube videos with like, early release or whatever looks, beta looks, alpha
Yeah,
footage of GTA 5 and you've seen the trailer and the game looks amazing. It looks
yeah.
insanely nice. Do you think that they just want to wait until September? They have to wait until the next console releases because I mean in August, Microsoft is gonna unveil their new Xbox console. So,
Yeah.
do you think that has to do with anything?
I mean, unless they've like royally messed up on something else, I can't really see another reason for them pushing it back apart from that.
Right, and people are. Do you know what Valve time is? The term Valve time.
No.
Okay, so have you played any Valve games like Portal or Half Life?
I played a bit of Half-Life once around my friend's house.
Okay, so pretty much Valve time comes from the meaning of because Valve, the guys behind Portal and all those games, they take their time. Like it took them 6 years to make a sequel, and maybe people are already joking about it. Maybe they're taking their time a little bit, wanting to do something big from that. And originally the launch window was supposed to be actually a couple of days ago already. It was supposed to be,
Really?
yeah. Um,
Mm.
I mean, if they had released it, when it was supposed to release, what do you think would have happened? Do you think people still would have said, "Oh, you need some polish," or they're just, taking their time?
I mean, I don't think anyone will really be ever satisfied. There'll always be someone nagging about something.
Right.
But I mean, it's 4 months later than they originally planned to release it, so I think
That's
they
a
must
lot.
just trying to.
That's a lot to polish a game
Yeah, yeah.
you've been working on
I
since
know. Yeah.
whenever. That's a long time. I mean, um, so yeah, so that was GTA 5. Expect it somewhere in 4 months. It's
Hopefully.
insane. I still can't believe it. I mean, this is the first time I've seen this happen. It's the third time it's been delayed, and every time they're saying. I mean, because at the beginning, like I said, they had a couple of delays also, and in the last couple of weeks they said that at first they said that it would release at the beginning of September. Now they're saying September 17th. What next? Like it won't release at all?
Yeah, I mean, they could, the rate they're going, they could push it back to whenever they want at
I
the
mean,
moment.
already fans like ever since the end of GTA 4, like, and they announced GTA 5, like, fans have been like practically waiting for it. Um,
Yeah, I mean, my friend is like a huge GTA fan,
right.
and he's getting dead frustrated with it. And from the sounds of things, he'd rather have it now with, say, not everything being completely polished, than wait, say, another 4 months for it to come out.
Right, and so if it releases now, and looking at if it releases in September, hopefully it will be released, but do you think there will be still the same crowds of people lining up today if it would have released, as of if it would have released in September? Do you think there was still amount of people who would have waited for it, or just, said, oh, whatever, they're gonna delay it again, we're not gonna wait for it?
I think like if you're gonna get the game, you're gonna get the game. They'd be frustrated, but they'd still go line up and pick the game up.
Right, so you still think there's gonna be a big launch?
Oh yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's GTA 5.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, so that was GTA 5 again. Finished the topic. Over to the next topic, which is the World of Warcraft film.
yeah.
Have you heard about this before I talked with you about it?
No, not really. Don't really follow World of Warcraft that much, but it seems like an interesting idea.
Okay, so have you ever played World of Warcraft?
No, but I've seen gameplay.
Okay, good, because you've gotten addicted. Um, the did you know that a couple of years ago the director of Lord of the Rings wanted to do a film for Halo. Did you know that?
No, but I can imagine him wanting to.
Right. And so he didn't make it. There wasn't enough budget. I mean, they couldn't build enough banshees from what they had or whatever. Um,
Yeah,
and so it went on to another director, and that didn't help, and that failed also. And it went to another director. So four directors, and still today there is no Halo film, although there's a lot of rumors about it.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, they could do it. I mean, they get the fans for it.
oh right,
I'd go.
but
I'd
that's
go
all
watch
the
it.
money. I mean, making a movie is all about the money. I mean, do you have enough money to make a huge full scale ship or whatever?
Yes, yeah, there is
I
that.
guess, yeah, sure. So anyway, back to the topic. World of Warcraft, there Duncan Jones, um, who's a director who actually directed a couple of movies. Let me see if I see here. Oh well, never mind. So he directed a couple of movies, and he was picked by let me see here. Let me see. He was picked by Legendary Pictures and Warner Brothers to direct a live action film of World of Warcraft. Now,
Mm.
here's an interesting question that a lot have been asking. Do you think World of Warcraft would be better if it would be an animated film? Because, I mean, or would it be better live action? Like,
I guess the route or route they want to take it. They could make if they wanted to cartoony and make it kind of child friendly, then they could do that. But they could easily do it like might make it quite a dark adult film. I think, which would be pretty good.
yeah, I mean, do you think it would still have the same impact?
Oh yeah, I mean, if they make it well enough, I mean, and just have like an awesome trailer, I mean,
Wow.
it'll
Yeah,
get the
yeah, I know. True. It's
interest.
true. It's true. Very true. So anyway, he was picked to direct the movie based on the MMO. This has only come out a couple of days ago. So So at the beginning denied it. He didn't want to do it, and now he finally said that he wanted to do it because he at the beginning said the computer games won't do the best and won't be the best as films. So you know that Prince of Persia was is a film now, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but
Okay,
I've
so it's a
seen
really
trailers.
bad movie. So that's a problem.
Okay, okay.
When you're turning a game into a film, it can turn out really bad. I mean, how are they going to take an MMO and turn it into a film?
Mm,
What do you
that's the
think of
only
that?
thing.
How do you like questing? What, like you're gonna have the main character turning in quest, killing five ducks and going back turning in his quest,
Yeah,
and to go to like a PvP server and fight with someone? Like, what do you think? How do you think that will turn out?
I mean, I guess he could be set a task by someone that could link into the story, and the film could be based around that one thing,
Right.
maybe. But they can't include a lot of the game stuff because then it just seemed completely unrealistic.
Right. I mean, so what you're saying pretty much is they can like take one character. So what I thought is like maybe they would take, let's say, the lore of, I don't know. So in Cataclysm they have the big dragon.
Yeah,
So maybe like have that, or the
yeah,
panda, he's gonna fight against a big panda warrior. I don't know, just giving up ideas.
that could turn into Kung Fu Panda for no
Oh God. Um, it's gonna be a big thing here because so many people still play World of Warcraft, believe it or not, even though it's full of haters and trolls and
Oh yeah,
whatever there is. I mean,
I mean, I know quite a few people who play it still.
I at the beginning I played when it was still, I think, in beta a couple of years ago. The first one. It was really good. It was fun. I mean, the community was good and all that. And I only last year maybe it got better, but last year I went inside and first thing I see is someone trolling me in the chat and trying to scam me.
Hmm. That's the problem with games like that. It's quite sad when you're a fan of a game and then the community just
Ruins
falls
it. Yeah,
apart.
yeah,
Yeah.
true.
I mean, the game I'm playing is like Dead Frontier. It's like a zombie MMO RPG thing.
Right.
And in the last few years, the community is just, it's horrible.
Yeah. And
Every,
yeah, go say. What do you want to say?
I was just gonna say, it's like everyone like begging you for stuff and just like you said, trolling you or hating on you for no reason and stuff. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah, exactly. That's a problem with games. Also, while we're talking about this, I've played. Have you ever played Allods Online?
No.
Have you heard of it?
Yes. Yeah, I've heard of
It's an exact copy of World of Warcraft. It's a free copy of World of Warcraft, pretty much.
it.
Um, and there's so many because you see sometimes World of Warcraft players hating and like play on allies, and they hate on other people, and that's a very big problem.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever had that happen when you were in game?
Uh,
Someone come in from another game and compared how bad that is, and
yeah.
they're copying from that.
Have you seen any no Dota 2? Have you seen any gameplay of that?
Yeah, I have Dota 2. I can give you a beta, okay, if you want.
Um. Oh, nice. um. No, but it's like people who play that. Have you heard of the game Dragon Sang or whatever it's called? Dragon
I
Sang.
heard about it's like a what is it like? I don't
It's
know. It's
pretty
like
much.
top-down view. I don't know, MMO thing.
It's kind of like half
Is it
Dota
Diablo?
2 and half Diablo, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Like, and you get people going, "Oh, this game's such a copy" and stuff, and it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. And when a big company, even if it's a small company, perhaps works really hard on the game, puts in millions of dollars. Because I mean, a game, even if you can make your own game, you're gonna have to spend a few pennies,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's really frustrating. Yeah, like you just said. So yeah, just going back to the World of Warcraft film. Are you waiting for this? Are you on the edge of your seat already?
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Definitely.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they turn it out into a movie. I mean, because Prince of Persia had its own storyline. I mean, it was a single player game, but this
Yeah.
is a massive MMORPG. So that would be kind of hard.
Mm.
See, and yeah, I think that's all our topics for today. Uh, do you
Yeah,
wanna,
pretty much.
yeah, do you wanna add anything just before we go into the final?
I mean, going back to the THQ thing, I think it's shows like some of the big games get sold for like a million plus.
Yeah,
Then Homefront was like 500K. Then WWE got sold for like 2,000, like 2K,
yeah, yeah, right.
which just shows like they need to do something with WWE. I mean,
I mean, because
that
we've talked about this already, but people are really hoping that a new WWE game. I mean, there are so many people who are fans of that game,
hmm. I
and
mean,
it's
I've
serious.
the newest game's got the Attitude Era on mode on it, so that bit was pretty awesome, I think. But
Right, and just to add here, I know this is extremely off topic, and I didn't talk about it with you. Um, have you ever played Madden NFL, the game?
again, no.
Oh wow, you have to play a lot of games. Um,
Yeah,
have you heard about it? Seen foot?
yeah. I've heard
It's
about
a
it.
football game. It's your typical.
Yeah, yeah,
So now they've hit 99 million copies sold. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, just letting it sink in is that's a lot. That's I mean,
Just take a moment to think about it.
yeah. And it's been already for 25 years. They crossed the 100 million milestone in 2010 when they had met in 2010. Um, and yeah, it's amazing what they've done. So pretty much they're having a special edition now. It's not going to be called the next Madden NFL. For now, we don't know for sure, but it's not going to be called Madden NFL 14. What do you think it will be called?
I have no idea.
Come on, take a guess.
Uh, I don't know.
I gave you like two hints. Okay, so 25 years, so it's going to be called Madden 25.
All right.
And it's going to have
There
a
you go.
special edition with all, you're going to be able to play with players from like 50 years ago. I don't know, we're like way dead.
Oh, that's
Right.
pretty cool.
Yeah. And also I heard they were gonna do that if, I just read about it. But if WWE will continue, they will be putting back some wrestling stars from the past years. So from the very very first WWE season.
Really? Well, that's pretty cool. That is.
Yeah. So a lot of games are doing that now because they're hitting their 25 years or 20
Yeah, yeah,
years or 10 years. So that was a little bit of an extra thing out here, and
yeah.
that's it. So we're gonna go into the final part of this podcast now. So, any final words?
Um, just that I hope the games that THQ have sold work out with the other companies, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So usually this last part of the podcast will be with questions. But for now, this is only the second episode, so we don't have anyone yet asking questions. Although you said thanks for subscribing, I'll sub back, which is a pretty interesting question. But so yeah, so usually we'll have that, but just for today, nothing else. But do you wanna say anything else other than the THQ thing?
Uh, I
Anything?
I can't think of anything really, to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay, so where can people find you on YouTube?
Just type in MegaLogic HD on YouTube, search it. I should be the first one. My picture's like a derp zombie going like "Goo," or whatever the hell
Yeah.
whatever the hell the picture is. So yeah, I just started a few weeks ago and I've got I think 18 subscribers, so it's going pretty good.
Okay, and
So yeah,
my final words is wait for next episode, guys, because we're gonna be talking about a new Skyrim DLC, which will be released on February
dun dun dun.
12th. So in 11 days of this recording. So we'll talk about it exactly, I think, when it's gonna release, even before that. So catch us next week. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to both my channel and his channel. Uh, did you have fun today?
Oh yeah, it's been interesting. Had fun. Yeah.
It's good. What do you think? What do you think overall as your first podcast?
Oh, it's fun just to like talk about game and stuff because
Yeah,
a lot of the stuff we talked about, a lot of my friends don't know anything about. They know like less than me, so it's pretty fun. It's my first podcast.
yeah, and it'll get better over time. I'm
Oh yeah,
also because I used to have my podcast, but that went down the drain. It wasn't really a podcast because I didn't really follow up with things. But that was
yeah.
a totally different topic. But yeah, it'll get better. You'll like it. Um,
Yes, I'll acquire like more gaming knowledge as it goes along, I
yeah,
guess.
right.
So,
And like we'll talk more about stuff, prepare you and everything.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so it's been your first podcast, and you said it's really been nice. And I'm your host, Mr. Busy, and with my co-host today. Do you want to say your name?
Logic,
MegaLogic. Come on.
MegaLogic.
And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode.